Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israel here for Renaissance Periodization. Can you outwork a bad diet? Can you still lose tons of fat and get in the shape of your life while eating anything you want as long as you exercise enough? Well, it turns out that's probably bullshit, as Arnold Schwarzenegger, bless his heart, would absolutely no doubt say. Let's take a look at why that's BS. First, Herman Ponzer is kind of like an exercise anthropologist to some extent. He studied a whole lot of literature, actually went all around the world studying various cultures and their expenditure rates versus their food intake rates, and he found something really, really trippy, that humans all around the world have a pretty narrow band of how much physical activity they do. And if you try to take humans and make them do much more physical activity than they used to for an extended period of time, the amount of energy they have available for daily tasks shrinks so much that all they want to do is sit there and nap and eat and be lazy. So that as you try to do more and more work, let's say you're burning 3,000 calories on average every day, and you want to get up to burning 4,000. Maybe 4,000 is possible. Maybe it's even sustainable. What about 5,000? 5,000 sustainable will be almost impossible. 5,500 will be something you can do for like a few days in a row, and then you just like sleep for 12 hours straight, and it's impossible to get you to do much of anything that entire time. So because our physical activity, realistically, is really hard to push into extreme amounts, it's really unlikely that if your diet is awful and full of absolutely insanely high-calorie junk food, that you can actually outwork that bad of a diet. Because here's the big fundamental reason this is BS. Training a ton consistently is hard as fuck. And because of Herman Ponzer's sort of asymptote there, that as you get closer to super high levels of exercise, it gets harder and harder to sustain, that's a problem. But what about eating a lot of food? That's easy as hell. You guys ever seen that show, My 600-Pound Life? Eating 9,000 calories a day, if you just do fast food, is tough, but it's not that tough. And for most of us, we could probably crank 4,000 calories a day, no problem. Fast food and junk food and all that super tasty stuff, it adds up so fucking quick. The probability that you will out-exercise it is vanishingly small, which is also another reason why you almost never see it happen. So, here's an example. I put in 30-year-old male, 180 centimeter, 80 kilogram, very average figure for a fine gentleman. Sure as hell not me on any of those things. Male, maybe the jury's still out. So how much running at 7 miles per hour, which is like a decent pace, does it take to burn off the calories of the following foods? 1 apple, 7 minutes of jogging. Pretty decent brisk jogging. That's okay. That's okay. You have 2 extra apples, you run for 14 minutes that day, no problem. Hey, looks like you can out-train a bad diet. It's not bullshit after all. But hold on. Motherfuckers aren't getting fat eating apples out here. You feel me? 1 large cookie, 15 minutes. Okay, at 7 miles per hour. That's annoying. How many of you ever have 1 cookie at a time? Exactly. You'll have 3 of them shits, for sure. 3 cookies, that's 45 minutes of jogging. Bro, every day? Are you fucking kidding me? On top of what you normally do? Hold on. This is getting weird. 1 slice of pizza. 1 slice of normal pizza. This is like a reference value slice. You guys ever see the government food indices? That's not a very big piece of pizza. Minimal toppings. Minimal toppings, which again, no one ever orders. You would have to be insane to do that. They made toppings for a reason. God bless America. 20 minutes at 7 miles per hour to burn that slice off. When's the last time you had 1 slice of pizza? I don't remember I've ever had 1 slice of pizza. Bro, it's at least 3. 3 slices of pizza is 1 hour of running on the treadmill. You guys have been to, I'm sure, school parties, office parties, maybe childhood birthday parties. If you had childhood friends, I didn't, and your parents let you leave the house to interact with others, which I also couldn't. You've seen people eat pizza. Little kids will have 3 or 4 slices. Adults will have 5 or 6 slices at an office party just chatting with friends in the course of 20 minutes. And they just bought themselves, oh my God, 6 slices, by the way, is considered a whole pizza, which is nonsense in my opinion. And a whole pizza, again, minimal toppings, just 6 slices of the smallest fucking pizza you can pretty much get, is 2 hours of running. So when people say, remember, Here's the myth. The myth isn't, or the bullshit part isn't, this video isn't titled, "You can outwork a diet." Yeah, you can outwork a bunch of diets. You can outwork a bad diet. A bad diet means Twinkies, ho-hos, potato chips, pizza, burgers, all that shit adds up. That's a whole fuckload of running. We can easily see a situation in which the surplus calories that a person generates every day necessitate that they need to run. They could do this in a bunch of different kind of exercise, although jogging is one of the most efficient ways, time-wise, to burn a ton of calories. You can easily see a situation in which a person needs 2 to 4 hours of jogging per day to sustain a terrible diet. Also, when you eat a terrible diet, do you exactly feel like running to the frag? Hell no. You feel like sitting around and eating more shit. Or at least just sitting around. 2 to 4 hours is an insane amount to run. Elite ultra runners run that much. Sure as hell isn't me. Sure as hell isn't most people. Now, yes, you can out-eat a not-so-great diet if a couple of things apply to you. Your output is consistent. You're already involved in endurance sport. You're a triathlete, for example. You swim, bike, run, and even lift weights, and you do that almost every day of the week. You do a crap load of exercise. It's something you do. You can have a diet that isn't the worst diet in the world, but it sure as hell has a couple extra cookies and pizza slices in there. You guys ever hung out with endurance runners? That's exactly how they eat. Mostly healthy, and then some bullshit here and there. You're like, oh, gee whiz, you eat 2 Snickers bars. That's crazy. And they're like, yeah, I ran like 18 fucking miles today, so I'm still under by 1,000 calories. And I'm tired of eating, so I need more Snickers bars. Like, that makes sense. But again, when most people say, yeah, I'm just going to like work harder. I don't want to control my diet. Like, So when would you become an ultra runner? Like, what's that? Like, that's some shit so tough that you'll never be able to fucking do it. So most people just can't do this kind of thing. Here's another group of people that can out-train a bad diet. Again, suspect, because a lot of these people, they just don't have a very high appetite. I know a lot of folks, especially back in school, when I was an undergrad, I first time sort of living outside of the house, other than summer camp, which my therapist says it's not a good idea to discuss at all. Went to college, and I made friends with a bunch of people, and some of them were very small people and very skinny people, and I was fascinated. I was just like, how the fuck do you stay that small and skinny? And I realized, like, they wake up in the morning, they're not hungry. They go to class for 8 hours, and then they get kind of woozy, so they buy, like, a protein bar, and they eat it, and they're like, oh, that's great, and they have a Monster, and that takes them through most of the rest of the day, and they get, quote-unquote, according to them, ultra super hungry at 8 p.m. They go and have tons of sushi, which is 2.5 rolls. They get super full, and they go to sleep. That's like 1,000 calories. And I'm like, how the fuck do you maintain, how do you not go nuts and try to eat your own hand on that? And they're like, I don't know. And you watch them eat, and they're like, oh my God, sushi's so good. And they'll even put it on social media, hashtag I love sushi. I can eat an infinity of these rolls, 8-3. Get out of here. All right. If you're that person, it's not exactly challenging for you to out-train your diet, so you don't eat that much food. The people mostly that are interested in this, not controlling their diet, but doing more exercise, they have an overeating problem. They're almost never going to be able to out-exercise it because their problem is really, really big. Another one is some people just tend to eat really healthy on average. Some people just like to eat healthy. I mostly do. I have a few friends that, like, when they're like on vacation with my wife and I, they'll be like, oh, here we go. Here's time for fun foods. And they'll eat like a giant salad. I'm like, this is it? You could eat anything you wanted. And in salad, you chose a salad. They're like, oh yeah, we'll get crazy tonight. And they'll eat like some fruits and some like frozen yogurt. I'm like, what the fuck? When I cheat, I'm IVing pizza into my shit. I don't need anything to even go through my mouth. Some people just eat super healthy. Then they'll, you'll talk to them and they'll be really lean and muscular. And they say, hey, do you watch what you eat? And they're like, no, not really. I just eat whatever I want. And I go, oh my God, like, but you train a lot. They're like, I train all the time. And like, see, they're out eating, they're out training their bad diet. It's like, yeah, but their diet's not that bad. It's easy to assume that everyone's diet would be just like yours if you were in charge, but a lot of people eat way healthier than you. So if you think, oh, that's okay, I outtrain my diet, you could outtrain their diet, but you wouldn't want to eat their diet because you get bored of shit on it. You would quit in a couple of days. Lastly, you're just lucky as hell. Your metabolism is shit. Some combination of appetite regulation and body heat and non-exercise activity thermogenesis, so you just tend to move a lot. You're the kind of person that just like their output is really high, intake's not that high, and when you just don't track anything, you're in great shape. And you say, oh, I just work out a lot. It works for me. For a lot of people, it doesn't. And remember, again, your diet's probably not that bad, right? For most of us who do not fit into these very tiny categories, this idea of out-training your shitty diet is highly suboptimal. If you want to lose maximum amount of fat and keep it off, you're best served in doing this establishing a decent but not unsustainable level of physical activity, moderate, maybe moderate to high. Lots of good weight training, some good cardio, good daily physical activity, 10,000 to 14,000 steps, something like that. And you hold that pattern. And you take your dog shit diet and you take the fucking junk food mostly out or wholly out. You reduce some of the fats and a little bit of the carbs, and now your diet has generated a big deficit for you. Moderate activity. Diet used to be shit. We don't want to bump our activity to here. We won't sustain it. So we stay here and we take our diet down here. A solid, not insane daily deficit over the course of multiple weeks. Ta-da! You're super lean. That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to accomplish results. Not saying, hey, I don't even want to look at my diet. I don't give a fuck what my diet is. I'm just going to do exercise really hard. In most cases, it's not going to work because in most cases, it's bullshit. See you guys next time.